What's going on, guys? Welcome to the video. So today I want to talk about loneliness, which I think is a very important topic, especially in this day and age, because, well, number one, because of this advanced technology and the internet, so many people are spending much of their time on their phones and devices that they don't have much time interacting one-on-one. And on top of that, we still have this ongoing lockdown which is preventing us from meeting people in the first place. And if you're an introvert, then chances are you're more prone to being lonely because of your lifestyle, because you're basically designed to be in solitude and spend most of your time alone. And so this is basically what I want to focus on, and I just want to share some tips on how I deal with loneliness personally and some tips that would benefit you. And so if this sounds interesting, then let's get right into it. Now, first of all, you have to understand the difference between being alone and being lonely, okay? So there's a big difference between the two. So being alone is where you're basically by yourself and doing your own thing and just being comfortable being by yourself. And there's nothing wrong with that, right? Because again, as introverts, we prefer to spend time alone, right? That's our way of replenishing our energy so we can get back to our normal routine. And in a way, that's a healthy thing, right? There's nothing wrong with that, right? That's basically how we're wired. Now, the problem lies where you get to the point where you feel like you need someone to be with you, like to someone to keep you company. So if you're in that position, so if you're in a point where you feel like you need someone to be with you, then that's where loneliness comes into play. Okay, so those are the key difference between being alone and being lonely. And so how do you deal with that? Now, I think the main issue with loneliness is that we feel like we need someone to be with us to give us a sense of satisfaction, to give us a sense of happiness and self-worth, which really, like, that shouldn't be the case, right? Because ideally our sense of happiness, our sense of self-worth should come from within us, right? It should come from within us. We shouldn't be relying on another person to give us a sense of happiness and self-worth, because the reality is that people come and go, right? And so let's say, like, if you have a friend right now who is always with you, and suddenly that person's gone, then basically you're just putting all your dependence on that person to give you that sense of self-worth, which really you shouldn't be doing that in the first place, right? It should come from within you. So that's what I want to point out. So instead of looking at loneliness in a negative way, look at it in more in a positive way, right? So for example, like, as of now, you probably don't have anybody with you, right? You probably don't have anybody to associate with, right? You're probably not in a relationship, perhaps. This is a perfect time to embrace your loneliness, or embrace your alone time, rather. This is a perfect time to work on yourself. This is a perfect time to work on your hobbies or your skills or your interests, or just get into any activities which you always wanted to do, right? Because you don't have this commitment to be with someone else, right? So basically you have all this free time to work on yourself, and so really use that time. Now, let's say you want to go to the movies or to the park, or you want to travel somewhere, then yes, of course, you definitely want to have some friends to keep you company and have fun. But even if you don't have anybody to go with you, you can still go by yourself and enjoy your time. You can still go to the movies by yourself. You can still go to the park by yourself. You can still travel anywhere by yourself. In fact, I've done a lot of things by myself as well. I've gone to basketball games by myself. I've gone to many festivals and parties by myself. I even traveled to certain places by myself. And honestly, like, I had a fun time. Like, in fact, I had even more fun than I would have if I had you know a bunch of people with me. So don't think that just because you don't have anybody that you can't go out and enjoy yourself. I mean, you can still have fun. You can still go out and do whatever it is you want to do, and at the same time work on yourself, invest in yourself, work on becoming a better person than you were yesterday. Okay, so that's number one. Look at loneliness in a positive light. Now, having said that, obviously, like, we gotta have some human interaction, right? Because I mean, it's not healthy to just be by yourself all the time, right? Like, you want to have the right balance between being alone and just having some human interaction with people. Okay, so how do you go about finding people? Ideally, you want to spend time in various situations and settings where you can meet people, right? And so that includes colleges and universities. That includes workplaces where you can interact with many employees and within the vicinity in a building. um, of course, that includes institutions like churches or other religious institutions. Basically anywhere where you can meet people, right? Like any social gatherings and whatnot. Now, of course, it's not enough to just be surrounded by people, right? Because you can be surrounded by so many people and still feel lonely, right? I mean, if you're in a classroom or if you're in a workplace where you can't relate to anybody, like you're not able to form deep connections with people, then you're gonna feel left out, right? Especially as an introvert, because as introverts, we prefer to form deep connections with people, right? Rather than having many shallow relationships with people, right? And so if you're not able to form deep connections with people in your workplace, for example, then you're gonna feel left out. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, even in classrooms, even in at work, the chances are you will come across people whom you can relate to, whom you have common interests, and you can form deep connections with, and that happens all the time, right? I mean, it definitely happens. But if you really want to increase your chances of finding like-minded people, people whom you can relate to, then one of the suggestions I would offer is to join some activities, join some clubs that align with your interests. So, for example, let's say that you're really interested in dancing, right? And you take dance classes, then chances are you're going to meet so many people who are also interested in dancing and probably have similar interests as you. And over time, you can build deep connections with most of these people. And so that's a great way to meet like-minded people. Just joining many groups and activities, whether it's dancing or sports or cooking or whatever interest you're in. If you can join activities where you can get together with other people, chances are you're going to form a deep connection with them and just go from there. Now, because we're in this lockdown, obviously that's not possible, right? And so if you're in a position right now where the lockdown is still going on in your area, and you're not able to meet people for whatever reason, fortunately, we have this advanced technology and social media to connect with anybody around the world, right? And so all you need is an internet connection, and we can basically connect with anybody and meet people online, no matter where you're at. And so that's one of the beauties of advanced technology. So if you're in quarantine, this is the perfect time to take advantage of this advanced technology and to meet people online. And there's so many websites, there's so many online groups where you can get involved in and connect with people online, especially people whom you can relate to, people who share common interests as you. One example I can give is meetup.com. So meetup.com is a website where there are so many groups related to particular interest. And so if there's a group that pertains to an interest that you seem to be passionate about, you can get involved in. And they probably have weekly meetings once or twice every week, and this is a great way to meet other group members and to connect with them. And now, because of this lockdown, I'm pretty sure most of these groups now are doing virtual meetings where you can actually communicate with other group members from the comfort of your own home. And so this is a great opportunity to connect with like-minded people. And ideally, if you can, try to switch from online connection to offline, because I think, by having an offline communication, by actually meeting people, that's where you can form a very deep connection. But of course, for the time being, that's not possible, right? And so, but even with online connection, having like online connection can be, just as deep as physical connection, right? I mean, it's very possible. But definitely use that time to get involved. Check out meetup.com. There's many social media platforms like Facebook groups. Those are perfect to meet people online. And yeah, I mean, just, there's so many other websites there that I can't think from the top of my head, but, I'm sure like, if you search through Google and, find whatever interests you, chances are you're going to meet like-minded people whom you can possibly connect and form a deep connection. And so I think that's, a great opportunity that we can have. Like, with advanced technology, we can still stay connected, not only with our old friends and our family members, but also use that to meet new people and to build, hopefully build deep connections. So those are some tips that I just want to share with you. And just, one important thing that I want to share, this may sound counterintuitive. Don't be so focused on, finding friends or finding people to hang out with, okay? So, for example, like, let's say that you want to join a dance class, right? Now, yes, of course, ideally you want to meet some people, but don't be so obsessed with that, right? Because if you do, you may come across as needy, and, people may look at that in a negative way, and they may not want to associate with you. So instead, like, look at a dance class where, you just want to develop some skills, right? Because, ideally, like, you want to be interested in dancing, right? I mean, that should be the main reason why you're joining a dance class, right? And so, eventually you're going to meet people, you're going to meet people, like, like once you start going there regularly, over time, you're going to meet so many people and be able to form deep connections with most of them. And so, yeah, again, don't be so obsessed with, finding friends. Just, and understand that it takes time. Be involved, whether it's online or offline. Try to be surround yourself with people who are like-minded. But at the same time, understand that being alone is not the same thing as being lonely, okay? So again, embrace your loneliness, be comfortable being alone, whereas at the same time, try to find the right balance between being alone and having like-minded people whom you can relate to and have a deep connection with. So, yep, those are my tips for dealing with loneliness. If you have any suggestions, if you have any tips on how you deal with loneliness, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if you find this helpful, then please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you can stay in touch with the latest videos and updates that will help you become more confident as a leader. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon. Bye-bye.